I couldn't have dropped this video at a better time, y'all. Between everything that Twitter is doing with two-factor authentication right now, and then you have Uber, Twilio, and Reddit in their news, it's time for this video. It's definitely time. So what do Uber, Twilio, and Reddit have in common? Well, each of these companies were hacked in the last year because employees were tricked into allowing an attacker access to their online accounts, even though they use two-factor or multi-factor authentication codes or push notifications. Now, what does Cloudflare have in common with these? Well, they were also attacked, but the attacker did not get in because their employees are required to use these little things. They're called hardware keys. Ta-da! So what do all of them have to do with you? Well, even if you aren't an employee at a big company like these ones, regular everyday users can fall victim to the same kind of attacks that have hit these big companies. This is what makes hardware keys like this one better than codes. When it comes to these kinds of attacks, a hardware key can protect you in a way that a code cannot, because it is something that you physically have in your hand that you have to touch, rather than something that you memorize in your noggin and you type into a website or an app, because anybody could have something that you memorize in your noggin if you give it to them, even if you give it to them accidentally. I have partnered with Yubico to make this video, and even though this is my first time partnering officially with this brand on my channel, I have talked about their YubiKeys for years. I have purchased these keys. I purchased this one. I hope that by the end of this video, you will understand why hardware keys, like the YubiKey, are so crucial for online security. Now, there are several different types of authentication. Let's start with something you know. So something you know is the most common. This is like your username, your password, maybe a PIN code. Each of these pieces of information is something that you memorize to log into an account. So they're things that you know. These don't change every single time you log in unless you manually change them yourself. So once you know them, they work every single time. These are knowledge factors, but if somebody else knows this info too, then they could log into your accounts with the same info. The second kind is something you are. This one is easy to explain because it has to do with biometrics. Something that you are also does not change normally, and this can be something like a fingerprint scan, a face unlock, or a retinal eye scan. Now, this is commonly used for unlocking your phone or unlocking apps. This is very convenient and it's hard to copy, but it is not foolproof. It's possible for somebody to copy your fingerprint data and use it to unlock an account if the technology being used in the biometric sensors, the actual technology, is less secure. Some newer biometric sensors on the market being built into our newer smartphones are more secure than older sensors, as an example. I have done a video about fingerprint sensors and I compared all the different versions that go into smartphones these days, and I also compared their security on my channel. Now, the third kind is something you have. These are things that are in your possession that you log into accounts with. Now, this is more secure than just something you know, but only if it's implemented correctly. So for example, if you type in your username and your password to log into a site, it may ask you to type in a 6-digit code that is sent to you via text message or sent to your email inbox or generated in an application on your phone. That's better than nothing, for sure. But if your email or your phone number is stolen by an attacker, they could still potentially see that 6-digit code when it gets sent to you. I did a whole video on SIM swapping years ago, but it's still relevant to this day, so check that out for a deep dive into how attackers can steal your phone number and read your text messages. But there is a more secure version of something you have. This more secure something you have is something you actually have. It's a physical device that you have to touch in order to log into accounts, which makes it truly something in your possession. Using one of these to replace 6-digit codes ensures that an attacker would not be able to force their way into your accounts by stealing a code, because there's no code to steal. They have to steal your username and password and then steal this physical key out of your purse or your home or your workplace, wherever you choose to keep it, which means that attackers that are in another state or another country, they kind of run into this brick wall whenever they try to log in, and they won't be able to get in because they don't have the key. Nowadays, you can even find hardware keys with biometric sensors on them, so not only would an attacker need to know your username and password, they would also need to steal your fingerprint. So that's like 3 factors of authentication. Now, 2 other types of authentication we run into sometimes when talking about this stuff is behavioral, where you have to do something in order to log into an account, like connect dots in a specific pattern. And there's also location-based. Location-based means that you would be blocked from accessing an account if it's outside of a specific region or if your IP address has changed. This is often used if you travel to a different state and use somebody's Wi-Fi to log into an account. You would have to re-authenticate yourself or approve the login via a prompt that's pushed to your phone or email address. Now, I have truly dedicated this channel to bringing you really in-depth content about tech, with pro tips trickling in, sometimes as shorts, but I promise I won't be doing any kind of TikTok dances because that's so not my thing. So if you want to use those pro tips, if you want to save them, I drop them every week. A quick click of the subscribe button tells me what kind of content you want to see more of, so it helps this channel grow. Let's go ahead and bring it back to those companies that got hacked. So just last week, the website Reddit shared some news about how their internal networks got hacked. It turns out an attacker was targeting Reddit employees and trying to steal their login information, like their username and password for the company's network. It appears from Reddit's security incident post that they require employees to use 2-factor authentication, where you get a code sent to you after you type in your username and password, and that code is required for you to log in. This attacker did eventually trick an employee into handing over their username and password, but they also got their 2-factor authentication code and they were able to replicate it. Reddit suspects this is because the attacker created a very realistic looking login website that looks just like the ones that employees usually use. But when the employee typed their login credentials into that fake website, the attacker was watching and they used the credentials to log into the real network. Based on the information Reddit provided in their post, we can assume that they are using some kind of prompt or a one-time passcode for 2-factor authentication, instead of hardware keys like these ones from Yubico. There have been instances in the past where cloning hardware keys was possible. This happened due to this little chipset that was vulnerable to hacks inside the keys, but this required a very, very specific factor to work. Like an attacker would need to steal the hardware key physically for a long period of time in order to copy it. But since this only worked for a limited series of hardware keys, most of them are not vulnerable to this type of attack. That kind of attack has a lot of limitations. And if you treat your hardware key like you do your house keys or your car keys, you would not leave them laying around for somebody to steal for a long period of time anyways. Eventually, you're gonna have to leave the house. And if somebody is walking into your house and stealing your entire keychain of keys, I feel like you would notice. Now, I put stickers on each of my YubiKeys, like this one is all these pretty colors, or I draw on them so I know which ones are mine. If somebody tried to swap it out and they steal my key, I would know immediately if they replaced it with a fake key, because it would not have my art on it. Even this one has something special on the side of it that I'm not going to show you on camera. Had the employees used hardware keys instead, the attacker would not have been able to copy the code sent to the employee. When you register a YubiKey on an online account, it creates this unique pairing between the website and the key's token. So that website will look for that key anytime you need to re-authenticate. And if for some reason it sees this new key, that's a red flag that somebody tried to clone it, but it won't match the data it's expecting to be given, so it won't let the attacker in. Let's get geeky. The cryptography protocol these keys use creates a special counter every time you use it to log into your online account. And the website knows what this counter should be every time. So if it's different for some reason, or if it's thrown off, the website will say, hey, this is not the key I was expecting you to plug in, and it didn't tell me the right sequence of information, so I ain't gonna let you into this account because something sketchy is going on. See, these keys use this fancy authentication standard, which is called FIDO2, and that requires you to actually touch the key to activate it whenever you want to use it to log into an account. So physically having the key and touching it at the right time is a must, or it won't let you into the account. I feel very strongly like using hardware keys is a must, in my opinion, for your most crucial accounts online. You don't have to use it for all of them, but use it for your most crucial ones. Use it to protect your email address. So when you get code sent to your email address from sites that don't support hardware keys for 2FA, you're still protecting yourself with some kind of hardware key. Your goal with online security and privacy is to make it so dang hard for an attacker that they get frustrated and they eventually consider you just too hard to deal with, too hard to hack. They'll move on and try to hack into somebody else's account. Now, do you have questions about hardware keys? I did a video busting a bunch of myths and misconceptions about them over here. You can watch that video to get your questions answered. YouTube thinks that you will enjoy this video as well. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, y'all.